Well, quite a simple task I'm going to do this time. All it basically is to put fluid in for brake fluid and to bleed the brakes through. It can be a bit fiddly sometimes, but basically all you've got to do is get fluid in here so that it fills these pipes all the way down to the caliper. And then you've got to make sure there's no air in the system. Obviously it's important that all the joints are all nicely tightened with the correct seals on them. You know, usually it's a flat washer of aluminium or copper just to make sure it's secure. Put it in, bleed it through. Once it's firm, it's really, you know, that's exactly everything you need to do. So, the way that this works, you have the pipe on the bleed valve into a tub, and I've got a one-way valve on that, so I don't need to put some initial fluid in the tub you've seen. And you open the bleed valve and squeeze the lever so that it pushes the fluid through, and you close the bleed valve and let the lever go so it doesn't suck air back in. Open it, squeeze, down it goes, close it, let it back up. Now on this system where there's no fluid in it, I've got to get the fluid through first, so it takes a while. You need patience, don't lose patience, yeah? I have got a pressure one which would clamp onto there and put pressure through. I've got it out on loan, typically. You can get another method where you put it in from the bottom and squeeze it back through, but frequently if you haven't got them, you do it this way. If you haven't got a tube, you can get away with just letting it go to air and closing it. It makes a mess. You've got to make sure you don't get brake fluid on your paint, but you could do it without any special tools whatsoever if you do it that way. I recommend you do try and make sure your brake fluid doesn't go on anywhere. So it's open, squeeze, close, open. And it's as simple as that. Yeah. So keep going, have patience, and it'll firm up after a short while. When you've bled them all the way through and you've got a firm lever, yeah, the final thing is top it up to the fill level, put your little seal back in, get the top on, and then what I will do is I'll get a damp cloth, a fairly wet cloth, and go over everywhere where I think there might have been brake fluid. Now it takes patience, you do need to, have a bit of patience. Don't get all, heated when it takes ages to bleed it through and such like. a little bit of patience goes a long, long way. Make sure to wipe off all the fluid. It's possible that after a couple of days, a bit of air somewhere in the system's found its way to somewhere it shouldn't be, and you might have to bleed them again. Frequently though, that's not necessary. But if you feel at all spongy, give them another bleed. It's a lot easier once you've got the fluid in the system.